This is DRF Race of the Day.
Hi everyone, the race of the day for Saturday is the Grade 3 La Cañada Stakes. Fillies and mares going a mile and 1/16 at Santa Anita on the main track. It's race number 8, and this race is relatively significant because currently the Distaff division out in California is pretty much up for grabs. The filly who emerged last year as the leader of the division, it was a 3-year-old filly, by the way, by the name of Harvest Moon. She won the Zenyatta Stakes, then she went on to finish a creditable 4th in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Harvest Moon has been away since the Breeders' Cup. She is expected to post her first comeback workout this weekend at Santa Anita. And as far as the others, well, we'll talk about one key player momentarily, but a couple other Grade 1 winning fillies and or mares from last year include Cece and Speech, both trained by Michael McCarthy. They are expected to return sometime later this spring. For now, the La Cañada Stakes marks the comeback of a filly who I expect, actually she's a mare now, 5-year-old mare by the name of Fighting Mad, and she should be tough to beat. Hard Not to Love also is entered in the La Cañada, and this race should set up one or the other for the Grade 1 Beholder Mile on March 13th. That is the race in which Harvest Moon is expected to make her 2021 debut. In the meantime, the La Cañada, well, it's all about Fighting Mad. Let's go ahead and take a look at the field. 7 fillies and mares entered this mile and 1/16 race, and I would expect number 3, Fighting Mad, to be strongly backed for trainer Bob Baffert. She hasn't started since last fall, but she is training exceptionally well, and she came a long ways last year as a 4-year-old filly. In fact, after a 3rd-place comeback in a sprint race, she basically went on a tear, and let's go ahead and take a look at this streak that Fighting Mad went on, starting with the Grade 2 Santa Maria, May 31st at Santa Anita. Those are those pink silks of Gary and Mary West, and Fighting Mad stretching out. 10-1 upset winner in the Santa Maria. Now, I have to be honest, I thought that this race might have been tainted because the racing surface at Santa Anita that day, May 31st, was extremely conducive to speed. But Fighting Mad came right back a couple months later at Del Mar to make a liar out of me, and she did the exact same thing, this time in the Grade 1 Clement Hirsch. Gate to wire, setting fast fractions, and holding off Ollie's Candy through the lane to win by a half length. Finally, everybody believed in her. Even I did, except what happened next time out? Well, it was in the Grade 2 Zenyatta Stakes, September 27th at Santa Anita, and that's Fighting Mad. This time she's the 2-5 favorite, and no match late for Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon went on to win this race. This was kind of Harvest Moon's breakout performance, and she upset Fighting Mad, and this is the race that knocked Fighting Mad out of the Breeders' Cup Distaff picture. Going into the Zenyatta, a lot of people, myself included, thought that Fighting Mad would win the Zenyatta and then go back to Keeneland and take on Monomoy Girl and Swiss Skydiver in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. But Bob Baffert does not ship horses out of town when they are not at their best. And that 3rd-place finish by Fighting Mad suggested to Baffert that Fighting Mad needs a break. Well, she got one. She's been away since late September. She is training well for her comeback, and she will be forwardly. She's going to be on the lead. She's not going to be forwardly placed. She will set the pace. Abel Cedillo is back aboard Fighting Mad, and she's the horse to catch. First start back in the La Cañada, but it's not a one-horse race, and this is not an easy spot to return over a Santa Anita main track that is tiring and demanding and is not always conducive to speed. Now, I still think Fighting Mad is going to win this race, but there are a couple other front runners in this field, including Saninas and Miss Stormy D, who have a forwardly placed running style. Fighting Mad still should be in front of them early, but if they put enough pressure on Fighting Mad, maybe the race would set up for Hard Not to Love. Now, I still believe Hard Not to Love prefers to sprint. She's raced around 2 turns 4 times with 3 runner-up finishes. You look at her sprint form, and she's a Grade 1, Grade 2 winner. John Sheriffs believes otherwise, and he would know. He's a pretty good trainer, Sheriffs is, and he believes that Hard Not to Love can get 2 terms. And when we go back and watch the stretch run of the Zenyatta again, you'll see that maybe Sheriff's is right. Hard Not to Love back in third place on the outside, and she kind of has a grinding, steady rally. She doesn't quite get there going 2 turns. Her stretch run in 2-turn races is far less explosive than it is around 1 turn. But Hard Not to Love, she finished in front of Fighting Mad. She gave Harvest Moon a battle late. She finished well. Harvest Moon also making her first start since the Zenyatta Stakes, trained by Sheriffs, of course, and a very interesting jockey switch. Ricky Gonzalez takes over on Hard Not to Love, whereas Hard Not to Love's regular rider, Mike Smith, jumps over to Miss Stormy D. Now, it's significant in this case. Usually jockey switches, not that big of a deal. It might be in the case of Hard Not to Love because she is a very quirky filly. She sometimes gets out on the racetrack and freezes up, refuses to go to the gate. She's kind of a little bit of a mental case with a whole lot of ability. But Gonzalez takes over for Smith. Smith jumps over to Miss Stormy D, who has an outside chance based on a highly rated one other than allowance race last year. She ran like a filly that needed her start last time out. My point is this: Hard Not to Love, assuming she gets to the gate, she will be grinding away late, and so will number 1, Proud Emma. Proud Emma was purchased privately. Actually, she wasn't purchased privately. Proud Emma is trained by Peter Miller, and she got a good win last time out. It was big for her because it was her first win in a graded stakes. Proud Emma in early December at Los Alamitos. Let's take a look at the stretch run of the Grade 3 Bayacoa, and Proud Emma and Message going to throw it down through the lane. And Proud Emma on the outside, she will inch clear late to win by a half length over Message. Her and Message, who was also in the La Cañada, actually dead heated in their previous start at Del Mar. They came back, and this time Proud Emma won on the square, inching clear late. Now, does an 86 Beyer speed figure translate to victory in the La Cañada? Probably not. And an 86 Beyer is the top figure earned by Proud Emma in her 16 race career. But she will be running late, and her running style is opposite that of both Fighting Mad and a filly by the name of Saninas. Saninas is a Chilean Group 1 winner whose 3 starts in the U.S. have all been around 1 turn. She ran super last time out in the Grade 3 Chaluki, a 1-turn mile at Churchill Downs. She was up there on the lead, Saninas was, and the winner and the 3rd and 4th place finishers all rallied from the back of the pack. Saninas ended up finishing 2nd. Now, can Saninas go 2 turns on a demanding Santa Anita racetrack? It's going to be a tall order, but she should get a good trip sitting right behind Fighting Mad. And if Fighting Mad comes back to the field, Saninas will get first run. Saninas' trainer, Michael McCarthy, has had a little bit of a poor streak of late. The last 9 months on the Santa Anita main track, McCarthy runners are 1 for 26. So he's having a tough time with some of his good dirt horses. We talked about a couple of those earlier, Speech and Cece, who will return later this spring. But Sanitas stretching out over a deep, tiring racetrack at Santa Anita, but she should get a good trip. Ultimately, this race is all about Fighting Mad. Now, I don't know what price she's going to be by the time they get to post. I expect her to race gate to wire. From a betting perspective, I don't think she's the greatest gamble that I've ever seen, coming in off a layoff in a race that is designed as a prep toward the Beholder Mile in early March. But I still think that she is the best filly in the race, Fighting Mad. And I would expect her to probably race gate to wire in the La Cañada Stakes. It's a Grade 3 race, race number 8 on Saturday at Santa Anita.